Hi everyone, I'm Kathy Burke-Hong. I am the curator, one of the curators for the Holloway series, and this is our second to last readings for this season, and I'm so happy all of you can join us today. Couple announcements. First of all, LaTasha N Nevada Diggs' collection, The Village, is for sale in the back, so please, if you haven't already, buy a copy. It's amazing. As I was saying earlier today, it's epic. It's brilliant. And also there is an email list for the Holloway series, so if you haven't signed up, please sign up so you get to know about future readings, okay? And next Wednesday, we're going to have our final reading for the Holloway series. Our very own poet and Holloway lecturer, Tim Wood, will be reading. Can't miss that event, so I hope you can all make it. So tonight we have a real special treat. First of all, we are going to have our own poet and English PhD student, Camille Santana Considine, read before, and Oriana Tang, who's also a PhD student here, will introduce Camille. And then after Camille reads, we are going to hear LaTasha N Nevada Diggs, and I am so excited. I hope you all are too. So we're going to start off with Oriana, who is over there. Yes.
Hi everyone, my name is Oriana Tang, and it is my great pleasure to introduce tonight's graduate student poet, Camille Santana Considine. Camille is a PhD student in the English department. Her research focuses on contemporary poetry and poetics in English and Spanish, with particular emphasis on queer and Marxist critical theory, film, formal constraint, and speech processing disorders. I began with this brief academic blurb, not because Camille's poems must be read through the lens of her scholarship, but because her poetic investments are coextensive with her scholarly obsessions. Voices erupt from Camille's poems, but whose voices are they? In speech, the first poem she'll read. Apologies for the spoilers. The speaker makes a declaration so bold and unstudied, one initially assumes it is a spontaneous emission of speech, only to discover in the next lines that, first, not only has the declaration been written down, but second, it is not even the declaration of the poem's I, but rather that of a she, whose speech the I has transcribed. Speech, the poem, thus stages speech, the act, as that medium through which the boundary between the self and the other dissolves and reconstitutes. In Camille's poems, these boundaries are not limited to those between individuals or even between the sane and the mad. They encompass as well the temporal boundaries that separate the present from the past. Thus, we find in these poems reworkings of Paul Claudel via Maurice Merleau-Ponty, as well as Francesca Petrarch. So I'll conclude this introduction by taking a page from Camille's book and ceding my voice to Petrarch's number 52 from his rhyme sparse, whose resonances you'll soon hear in Camille's work. This is the Petrarch poem. Not so much did Diana please her lover when, by a similar chance, he saw her all naked amid the icy waters, as did the cruel mountain shepherdess please me, set to wash a pretty veil that keeps her lovely blonde head from the breeze, so that she made me, even now when the sky is burning, all tremble with the chill of love.
Thanks, Ariana. As promised, speech. Speech. As a bitch and a slut, the parts that feel the best, to me, is my female difference, flung out, and further out, according to what I like, which I wrote down in this room, where the subject is, though she tells me this is a trick, and turns out of this room. Discipline. A child struggling with form came in and wrote something down. Are you fucking lying to me? Are you? The child asked. Is Daddy angry? Why is the door locked? Every daddy is angry and every door is locked, I said, as I corrected their form. The child is like me, prone to looking bad, though when they look bad, they look degraded, porous, and I know their red eyes are not a message that's hard. Okay, so real ones here in Mod 5, remember my 200 paper last year, and the next series of poems is an extension of those same questions about schizophrenic speech. Assessment. This psych resident told me I was sick. I spat on him. Look, anything you think is happening isn't. I don't want to be here, and neither do you. He looked sleepless, like a child who listened to adult gossip. What could he do but sedate me? The fishbowl. Patient wearing 3 pairs of socks. Question oriented. When asked place, hell. Patient feels, quote, lied to. Patient screaming, but tires with effort. Question, disinhibition versus accurate. Patient states, quote, I jumped wrong. Patient declined, appeal to calm down. Now for some love poems, and she's here. I remember. Mary asked how I knew this feeling was dangerous. She forgot I followed her through so many rooms, my eyes tired but not yet full. I went and Mary made me go, and now I'm gone. Now I know she wants me, and now I want to be gone. The last reading I did was at a gay bar, and everyone was a lot more like responsive. I think this room has a habit of making people very silent, and it's tough to read too. Thank you. There's my hecklers. Okay, baby. Baby made me cry last night at Mass. My fingers slipped. I cried to see Mary looking at me. This one is called God, I'm So Tired of the Veil. Not so much the clarity of denial in which I see her eaten by death as these failures to empty myself, as I cling like an ass not yet ready to come, so that she made all this nothing, all my deaths nothing. 2 more. 5 switch. This one's called Didactics. Where are the fags? Where are the fags? I saw them. Where are they? Where are the fags? I saw them in the dark. Where are the fags? They came and left. Where are the fags? They liked high-risk bisexual behavior. Where are the fags? I saw them. Where are the fags? I sucked. They were rarely all there. Where are the fags? They cried. Where are the fags? Where are the fags? They wanted to know. Thin blood, white snot. This hole, where are the dikes? Where are the dikes? Did they know? Where are the dikes? They came into the wind. Where are the dikes? They left. Where are they? Where are the dikes? They like to fuck and not to be complete. Where are the dikes? Where are the dikes? They are on pills. Where are the dikes? I saw them. Where are the dikes? They wanted to know. Thin milk. Relation. This analogy. Okay, last one. And it was great to have Oriana introduce me because this is the Merleau-Ponty poem, which Oriana sent me last year, and I was all by myself in Mexico. And you're really lonely when you start reading essays about the phenomenology of like touch. So we started writing poems about it. Last night, you sucked God through your mouth. You said birth dies, youth dies, age dies, and that's it. But that's not it, but a cut, enlarged digitally, then bluntly, then the physicians give, enough to be sorry, but not enough to despair. And the blade slips into a blue, so blue, only blood would be more red. Like a straight, gaping open, like a naked color, the sand wraps around the straight, the blue too, the straight around the sand, the straight around the sea. Is that it? Thank you.
Thank you, Camille, for your electrifying reading, for getting the room to make sounds. Wonderful. And thank you all for being here. I am Pedro Rolón, and I am one of two graduate coordinators, along with Camille, for the Holloway series, and it's a pleasure to introduce our guest this evening, LaTasha Nevada Diggs. Her first full-length collection, TwERK, carves polyphonic openings for us to reckon with the contact between language and experience. Her book explores a transitive pact between communication and whatever grates against words, a body so marked by speech and writing, with a chatter of both histories recorded and histories suppressed. In my first Black nature poem, TM, a speaker laments a nervous system which will not rest as the body wades through water. She sighs, Lord, these pensive endings. And much like sensitized flesh ignores thought as it moves across space, so too does language behave in her poetry as pensive, electrified endings. Language asks prosthesis and proprioception, a mediation on space and race, on bodies of water that synesthetically crisscross the Hudson River, Virginia, Hawaii, and the Bronx. To think water here in the hybrid and sonorous ecology of TwERK is to make speech out of what weighs with, quote, too much memory. TwERK intertwines work and pleasure, the labor of language, and the grammar of a dance. Her latest collection, Village, performs what Wright describes as, quote, a formal sediment in which application documents, government IDs, obituaries, leaps among Portuguese, Slovakian, and other vernaculars put pressure on the possibility of archiving. Again, in an interview with Wright quoted above, LaTasha Nevada Diggs asked, what is lost in the archive? What is valued as archival? How dependent are we in this country on what is and what is not in the paper trail, end quote. The poems address these questions as they also interrogate the nature of loss, memorialization, and truth. At the heart of this inquiry is the personal history of the poet's mother. Yet acts of remembering are perennially unstable. Poems like Tending to Drunk Mothers describe an irresolvable tension at play in the telling of history. Quote, a type of mothering, not mothering, a worrying. Did she teach you how to fly, though? One could read these lines as a probing into lineage and generational trauma, as well as a concise ars poetica evoking this ever-ambiguous relationship to a mother tongue, which weighs down on consciousness as much as it makes flight possible. Village touches on the permanence and transience of pain in written forms that verge on graphic markings, exploding into phonic substance. LaTasha Nevada Diggs is a poet and sound artist from Harlem. She is the author of Village, published by Coffee House Books in 2023, TwERK, published by Belladonna in 2013, and the chapbooks Ichi-Ban from the files of Muneca, MOH Press, 1998, and Ichi-Ban, Miseria, MOH Press as well, 2001, as well as the album Televisíon in 2003. Her work has been featured at the Venice Biennale, the Whitney, the Brooklyn Museum, and Museum of Modern Art. She's won fellowships with the New York Foundation of the Arts and Cave Canem, as well as the C. Wright Award and a Whitney Award. She earned her MFA at California College of the Arts and is a faculty member at Stetson University and Brooklyn College. Please join me in welcoming her on stage.
Thank you. Howdy, everyone. So, thank you so much for that introduction. Thank you, Kathy, for inviting me to be here. Ooh, this is a book. There are some good old friends in here that saw it in its very, very infant stages in 2006 through 2008. And I won't babble. I want to open up this computer so we can start the video. I need that password. It's almost oh, it's there you go. Okay, and is it possible to? Yes, I want to put it over there. No, we got it. We got this. Great, thank you. Tending to drunk mothers, as in gentle with all chosen mamas, aunties, nanas, the nurturing observed with kin, not kin, likely kin, but always kindred. Don't steal from the still gunball machine. Offer instructions with a now, baby. Don't raise your voice. Raise your arm to support her weight. Tender, always tender toward pitch of excitement. Hear how you pick up the phone as kin expect, except you should, you will eventually anticipate the situation, caring for your future version. Near fledgling, never near adult, the upward down obliged to depend, soon accountable, something owed to who birthed you, to them, for her, their service, all those years. A type of mothering, not mothering, a worrying. Did she teach you how to fly, though? Child ain't no, does not want to be accountable, don't want, don't know, doesn't say tenderly nor delightfully that she can't, will fail at it. Why surprise? What have you offered your youth inside this charm box? Sharpen the focus onto who never knew your family. Savor their conversations, trips to Costco, Gamma Sense, Q-tips dipped in olive oil to clean belly buttons. Let them talk calamine and Vicks, collagen gummies. Suckle onto that necessities nag and atrophy. Care to take sweet care. You're honest about new rituals. What she can but won't say she did, didn't, don't choke over what she didn't do. She tried and tired of doing. Attrition for the pickled child of a blitz mother, what the blood never taught, what the hand-reared parent thought they taught. Expectations stay expected cause shit, they owed. Sip till black, slip down staircase, she dipped head, clipped eyelid, she dramas, she vomits, grip more sip, she busted lip, she dribble, she as in drool, she careful, she Tiptoe through the number 2, she rides as an IRT, each step a prowler, skip, slides, Komodo, sit good for worms, a choke from Pall Malls, bits of navy sweet Scotch snuff, cradled in gums, zip up to bear down Flappago's hips. She omit directions in the script. She snip that flabby clip, edit that there Ted bit. She quit, more like cold turkey salad. She skipped the training session on how to become a mother. No tips, no split, no track, no contract, with no maternity nurse signed. What's CPS got to do with it? Rescript instead, biopic on 2 corn chips for Miss. What she ain't fed was fit. Dalonige is talagi for yellow, as in the color of bile, as in bile from vomiting nothing, as in a trigger, as in a scent so sulfurous, so memorable, she'd screech her whimsical, enchanted labyrinth in fascist collision with window guards. She considered once a dive out a kitchen window onto the playgrounds of King's Towers. She did dive onto a fire escape once halted by a pot of Espada Sal Jorge. Knows from The Price is Right how to spin that wheel. Am not well. Tlaoshta yawadanota. I am not well. Tlaoshta yawadanota. Am not well. Tlaoshta yawadanota. Tlaoshta yawadanota. Tlaoshta yawadanota. Tlaoshta yawadanota. Tlaoshta. I am not well. I am not well. Cliff Notes. Man is patient. I have heard of morgues, how they lose bodies, bodies never picked up. The estranged, unclaimed are mismatched bracelets, are toe tags. Never a dull school trip until now. He convinces me, his eyes do. Is he a father or a husband? He assures with his tongue, please don't let him become impatient. The morgue is not at capacity, yet, for now, says we'll work with families. Please don't let him make me mute. Was told about the impatience of coroners, of their need to find space. What might he speculate of this family? The kind with no life insurance, to make money on vacancies. What hospitals make money on beds? They do say if you want to die, go to Mount Sinai. I have heard nightmares, missing spouses. Was in a church when they found one behind the church on 123rd in Garvey Park. Bodies buried in vacant lots, landfills off the coast of Manhattan are bloating while a family handles the paperwork in Mexico. 'Tis is legal to bury the dead in Central Park. Before I knew that, I buried my last cat there, as Mommy had buried the 2 before, rotting from bad refrigeration, or they were left too long. No one claimed them. Where is Pottersfield? Does Hart Island have vacancies? The stuff rifers, lifers, shovel and quick lime, the last bed sheet for what I have, don't. Mommy did put money on a plot in Peekskill. I need not cry. No turkey buzzards in Harlem. So work with him. Rearrange. Instavet crematory rates are by the pound. The orphan is becoming a refugee. Trust. Take some water. I need Jason Momoa to open this next time. Because all of this water is in aluminum cans. So come on, Jason. Anyway, Ushti is Jalagi for baby. Her name is Anastasia. Margie, her middle is. After your mother. His name is Liu. Yoshi, her name is. His name is Chaden. Nami, her name is. His name is Hiroshi. Japanese for generous. Her name Aroha for love. Lightfoot, her middle name is, after your Elogi, your aunt. Loki, Loki is hot. His name is Lin. Hopi for flute, a lion's heart, Scandinavian. His middle name is Robert, after your uncle, your Educhi. Mai, her name is Coyote. It's Veda for eternal knowledge. Sanskrit, too many foreign films. Ain't feeling Kwanzaa. We won't name her Imani. Yoruba is so cliche. Hoshno, beauty. Mary, her middle name is after your aunt, Uluche. She arrived, she came. Atahua, beautiful. Elizabeth is her middle name. His middle name is Joshua, after your grandfather, after your great-grandfather, Ududu. No one will be named after your father. Tu es patir, I willed this. Miss Daisy lived in 2FW. She distilled water by boiling it. She sprinkled ammonia outside her door to ward off evil spirits. My first period took place in her bathroom. Her father was a Pan-Africanist. He spoke little, sold his Marcus Garvey flags and pins from his green van outside the state building. The last tenant was a chain smoker and filthy cat owner. The real estate agent will only show you should you make 40 times the monthly rent and annual income. Zillow feels so lonely. HOA fees are depressing. Aged out, as in past right. The seeds roasted, wish it would each month. Truth, those words make facts sting. Has your period stopped? Crease in midriff reminds her of the last lyric, I willed this, I willed my moon. Spare her lord of hereditary titties, non-status titties. The apps only serve to monitor the moods. Turn off the Jeffrey Osborne and the Joan Osborne. She pours down the bowl, no future, from her diva cup. Otito won't carry the shakers ever. I willed every tadpole to die. Lima bean ain't a nickname for her own. Won't name the nuthatch or her pothos. Somewhere in there a possibility was or two. She wish it would each month. Now wishes Tali Shiba Inu komi kitsune. Blessed she is Sesame. Imagine for a second she envies propagating. Coulda, woulda, this sure ain't antebellum. Oh, what a sad purchase she would have been. Perhaps her genes ain't party. I willed this? Perhaps every month when blood leaks the line and cries, nah, no, not again, not again. Vetiver root hangs on doorknob. Had I willed me sterile, wanders and thoughts, a co-op has rules. Last winter here, at least the radiators are whistling. Perry too cold and Menno too hot. This just ain't right. Ah, it is. I willed my cycle to return upon this residential closure. The end of woe is a lie after all. She wish it does each month. Uluche, he called her Uluche, daughter of men. She's arrived, clutching her brook balm. Prenatals are for thinning hair. A proposal for the Mayoral Advisory Commission on City Arts, Monuments, and Markers. I will create a monument to celebrate Cowboy and Billy's legacy and other neighborhood heroin addicts who served as foster parents. I will celebrate them as functional enough to monitor their addictions when tending to my little sister and me on and beyond 111th Street. This monument will celebrate trips to the movies on 42nd Street and comic book readings. It will celebrate how these types of extracurricular activities with Cowboy and Billy, when appropriately supervised, led to imagination, dreams, possibilities outside our neighborhood's landscape. Depending upon your vantage point and approach to Lenox Avenue's corner of 111th, the monument will comprise of two silhouettes: Cowboy wearing his military boonie hat and Billy wearing his leather bomber jacket with one facing east and the other north on the triangular public area that is the beginning of St. Nicholas Avenue, or Wekweski, an old Wappinger tribe trail that predates the commissioner's plan of 1811. St. Nicholas, aka Santa Claus, is considered the patron saint of children, sailors, and thieves. The monument will stand directly across from the once iconic red brick building that housed the Yiddish Lenox Theater and the Second Canaan Baptist Church. Rainbow granite will be carved in a shape that mimics swollen forearms with hyperpigmented papules, commonly known as junkie arms, the results of skin popping and long-term intravenous drugs. It is my opinion that Cowboy and Billy disrupt the perception of those with drug addictions. Both are worthy of a monument. This monument showcases how Cowboy and Billy maintained a sense of morality and a protective attitude toward their drinking buddies' children, oftentimes contradicting the public's positioning of them as only heroin addicts. Counter to commonly held perceptions of drug addicts, Cowboy and Billy saw us, the daughters of men, as worthy of a childhood momentarily free of trauma. On the day of the unveiling, I will host a screening of the 1973 James Bond movie Live and Let Die, as the site for this future monument appears in an overhead shot when Agent 007 ventures to Harlem to locate Dr. Kananga, aka drug kingpin Mr. Big, played by the actor Yaphet Kotto. Yaphet Kotto co-starred in the film Alien, 1979. Continued. What kind of impact, artistic, intellectual, communal, civic, social, etc., do you hope your project will have? 200 words. If you've ever had to apply, you know what I'm doing here. If you've ever had to do project proposals, you know. As a present, there are no public artworks, specifically monuments, celebrating Harlem's Black and Latinx community. Thus, in conversation with other public art projects, Uluche has created throughout Harlem. Uluche wishes to honor the nameless, representing saviors and teachers to a pocket of youth, often the black sheep, are oddballs, who were without functional family units. It is Uluche's desire to uplift those who were not public figures, yet were involved in affirming publicly, and to ask questions about whose social standing actually mattered. A point of inspiration for this monument is by the sculptor John Rodin. Commissioned in 1974 by Harlem Hospital, the sculpture entitled Family can be seen in the 1990 film Mon Better Blues, and is a site for many Harlem bus tours and participating black churches. Uluche's proposed monument expands Rodin's black family unit to include the chosen family, whose very presence contributed to Uluche's understanding of black and brown lives. By employing a non-traditional sculpture to depict non-conforming identities, the monument serves to highlight the fortitude of not only Cowboy and Billy, but also the many outsider-insider people they represent. This is ultimately about the visibility of everyone in Harlem's village. Escape. So, before I start this one, Control N, FN. How do I open it up again? Oh, ta-da!
Do you want us to make it full screen?
Yes. Thank you. Before I start this next video, because the next video is its own thing. Hour of the Star. The time is 11 p.m. Was born alive. The time is 8:44 a.m. The mother can read and can write. The time is 7:32 p.m. The father is unknown. The time is 5:21 p.m. The infant has been given eye drops at the time of birth. The time is 12:37 a.m. The mother's race is colored. The time is 4:49 a.m. The name for the child will be decided by a nurse as the mother is high on twilight. As the mother's grandfather died in a sanatorium somewhere near PD. The time is 7:49 a.m. The name for the child will be decided by a nurse, as the mother was under the influence of alcohol at the time of her arrival, as the mother thought the child to be a boy. The time is 5:38 p.m. The mother's residence is unknown. The time is 3:22 p.m. The mother's occupation is field hand. The time is 6:14 a.m. The child is alive.
black, I'm black, I'm black.
E eu vi você nascer. Compromise?
So I see my belonging hearts, a second name is everyone. Yeah. Oh, I love to eat it every day. And if you ask me why I Maya has a way of B-O-L-O-G-N-A. Yeah, 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 yeah.
You know that song, right? Just by the beat.
Oui, ils sont restés plus de 30 ans chez moi et n'ont pas parlé ma langue, ne parlent leur langue. L'avenir, pour moi, l'avenir ne dépend pas d'être compris par l'Europe. Je souhaiterais qu'ils me comprennent. Mais ça ne fait absolument rien. Si vous prenez la carte de l'Afrique, géographiquement, vous pouvez mettre l'Europe et l'Amérique, il nous restera encore de la place. Pourquoi voulez-vous que je me... ce tropisme, vous savez, ce tropisme, pourquoi voulez-vous que je sois comme le tournesol qui tourne autour du soleil? Je suis moi-même le soleil.
And let me stop it there. I guess I'll close with one last poem. That's fine. Miss Martha, don't remember, mommy's dead. Dream pictures, dream a painting on cardboard, dream youth, how the older ones don't fade when lost for so long, even her disaster dreamt. Dream conversations with artists, dream of artists with aneurysms. Stunted, tall, walkie-talkie dreams, sueño impediments. Dream elegant older women in cosmetic jewelry. Dream they keep the pictures, dream they keep the portraits of the dead. Dream storefronts, dream theater and some real shit about property and taxes and developers. Dream a Prada endorsement or a vodka commercial in the guise of intellectual discourses over inclusion in contemporary art. Dream the black mold may avoid you. Dream dementia, seizure dream, dreamt the artist's deathbed is her bed, is her first real bed, is her grown-ass woman bed, is a full-size bed, ain't even a queen. Dreamt next time a California king, if in the same household, this time you save him. Dreamt a man of Lexington dream. Dreamt lush cherry trees from Haiti. Dreamed she found pictures of mommy as a girl. Dreamt decades ago. Dreamed she wasn't that bad of a visual artist. Dreamed tags and cardboard, more cardboard. Pagarap, a demolition. Allez the dream almond saply, soñé in the rain. Soap kicks, the labyrinth dreaming dreams, balding, dreaded men. Dream an open heart, sent surgery. Dream you died, she died. Dream Spotify commercials. Later she survived. Dreamt the mommy's fibroid on CT scan. Dreamt the scar down her chest. The scar paraded dream. Dream floaters, agitstiti. Dream plaster and drywall come tumbling down. Dream no one remembers these transcend shadows. Dream somewhere else, elsewhere, anywhere, not here. Thank you. questions?
We have time for only a few questions.
How does your audio work affect the way that you experience writing on the page, knowing that something's going to be consumed on the page?
Say that again?
I said, how does your audio experience as a performance artist affect the way that you write on the page, knowing that it will be consumed on the page?
How does my audio experience? So how does sound?
Sound and performance.
It depends. Sometimes it's the visual that has been as of lately determining how the work is to be structured on the page. Sometimes it is the sound. Sometimes it's one word, what that word means, and then how that word sounds up against another word. So it varies.
When and how did you decide to mix this visual component and this literature component, merge these two worlds together?
Good question. I talked to some of Kathy's students earlier today. One, it at first came as a response to the pandemic. Being that we were all virtual, we were all Zooming, and I get sick of seeing myself, to be frank, right? Like I'm staring at my computer, staring at other people, is staring at me talking, which is weird, I feel, in many ways. And so it came as a response to that to, one, do something different, do something that would actually change up my focus and change the way I present work and change the way I present process, right? So I hadn't planned on presenting this video, but I decided to. And this one came as the prompt was basically about the writing process, how to get through the writing process, the most critical parts of the writing process. When you go back to the material that you've written, that you've ran away from, that you kept on running away from, how do you engage this material differently than when you originally wrote it, right? And then what are some of the things that get resolved in the editing process, but may not get resolved in the person, right? So words are thought about, words are then thrown away, words are composted, words are attached to other words. Thank you so much for talking about water, because that's a big thing for me, right? Water always has a role in, it's nurturing, it's life, it's Bjork's Oceana, and then it can totally it can take away life, right? So, but then it's like, how do we salvage from that? Or what Norbesi Phillips talks about, can you excavate from water, right? Can you excavate from the deep? How to exhume, right? But also, how do I exhume from something that I am physically witnessing in front of me being torn apart? So that's why you see the moments of demolition, right? looking at that and then looking beyond the layers of actual material, the sheetrock, the wood, the wires, the nails, the floors, and seeing where words come from that or what words appear.
Thank you so much, first of all. I know you play a lot with language and different language and also with different mediums. So I guess my question is, do you feel like there are clear distinctions between those, or is it more unclear to you? So like sound and language, are those different things, or are they the same? And then it goes into like your visual and movement as well. How do you come to terms with all these different aspects in one product?
Well, one is that for me, one is helping to fuel the other, to move the other. One is being used to create material, whether it's raw material or the final material. The other part is that there's no order in which I use sound or text or video. I can't say that I use one first and then the other and then the other. In this particular case, with this last video, it was more about the questions that I wanted to suss up in the finishing of Village. Doing this helped me flush out more of the things and the problems. And some of the things the problems that don't get resolved, I'm repeating myself, but like it's just kind of like, and also like how does LaTasha do it? How does LaTasha write a poem? Well, LaTasha writes with all of these procedures and all of these strategies, and then all of these like secret, private challenges to oneself. Like, okay, here's this movement. They didn't really do what they could have done, and why is that? Because they don't have any soul. So I'm going to do what they do, but I'm going to make it have a soul, make it have blood, make it vomit, make it sleep, make it rest, make it die. Because that's how I do. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Books are for sale in the back. Tim Wood will be reading next Wednesday. And let's just give one more final round of applause for